What it do? Team no sleep.
Sam,
Hold on, I gotta check something. I gotta make
what's
sure
that?
we stream into the right location because we got some things that's happening. Let me. Oh yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. Let's go and get focused. Was it March 22nd? Team no
Yes,
sleep.
sir.
Montel, how you living, brother?
Good, man. I'm blessed, as usual. Man,
Yeah,
can't complain.
can't
10 toes
complain.
down, ready to rock and roll with it.
I heard that. Check it. So I just want to make sure because we got a chance to hook up in San Diego. Was it last week? Broke a
Yep.
little bread together and hung out. Did a quick promo video. We launched the Team No Sleep YouTube page. Man,
Yes, sir.
so we didn't broke off, right? The
Yeah.
show has gotten to a point where look, we just need to have this conversation where it needs its own home, right? So we got
Yeah.
Team No Sleep YouTube page. I want to make sure to put the link in the comment section so we can get our subscribers up there because once we get to 100 subscribers, then we can make it a customized name instead of just long string of characters. So we growing, and it's
Yes.
all because of the community. It's all because of folks. What's happening, Mama? Are you working right now? Let's see. You talking about you look bright and glowing. Let me put these comments right. Appreciate you for joining us. There we go. she probably on break right now, right? Supposed to be working, but logged in to Team
Uh-huh.
No Sleep. It's all good. It's all good. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. As always, right? Social impact of sport. We're gonna get right into it. There are some issues that we're gonna need to talk about, and we want to get everyone's opinions on them. We just gonna come out. We're gonna bring the news, and
Yeah.
really want to hear folks' perception in terms of the stories and what's going on. So, without further ado, um, let me get the name right. Leah Thomas. Leah
Mm-hmm.
Thomas is a swimmer for Penn State out there doing big things, right? Winning races left and right, making people look silly, just lapping folks. So, shouts out to Leah Thomas for what they're doing. And the reason that I put the emphasis on what they're doing, as you probably saw here from the title here, trans swimmer who won maybe too much. There is controversy. There's question. Leah Thomas grew up as a man, didn't feel right in their own skin, felt the need to change who they were internally because of how they were feeling mentally, psychologically, and all of that. So actually is going through hormonal changes and all of the moves to become fully female. Uh, Coaches support that. Teammates have said they support that. Various agencies within the sports world have said they state that until Leah Thomas keeps winning. So now she's gone from the men's side of the pool to the women's side of the pool, still winning, and now you start getting questions from the IOC. You start getting questions from parents of the people that she's beating because they're wondering, does she have an unfair advantage going again from originally racing on the male side to now going through hormonal changes and hormonal surgery to be a woman. This story is hot in the news right now. This is going to be a controversial topic, so let's get into it. Dana, I see you. Appreciate you for joining us, brother, and I'm glad, Dana, that you're here because you can talk to maybe this story from a pro athlete's perspective, right? Again, how would you feel, or have you ever been in the situation to where someone has gone through this type of situation? Good to see you, sir. Glad you're in the building. Hope you're feeling well. MDH is in the building. You didn't return my text this morning, so I thought you were. I didn't know if you were all right. I'm glad to see you all right. Montel, talk to us a little bit about this story. I gave the high level pitch and overview. We're going to continue to go through it as we have the conversation. But again, the long and the short of it is, Leah Thomas grew up as a man, didn't feel right in their skin, felt the need to change to be a female. Fine, all good. She's got the support again of her family. She's got the support of her team, of her coaches. But now, again, she's coming out of the other locker room and she's still beating people. so now you
Well, I
start getting
mean,
conversations about again the
we
fairness
gotta
of
be
the thing.
honest. Yeah, we gotta be kind of honest, like with the situation when he was competing as a male. As a male, he wasn't very competitive. I mean, he wasn't on the top echelons in swimming. I believe, he was ranked somewhere in the 400 ranked in the country.
Yeah,
when it was there. So he wasn't as successful. Leah Thomas wasn't successful as a man swimmer as she is gaining the success as a woman swimmer. And that part right there, kind of tells the tale. Is there an unfair advantage? And I think this is what it all comes down to talking about, what the unfair advantage. Leah Thomas was born biologically a male. Obviously at some point she developed as a male swimmer. And now that she changed her gender through this process, she still has those same that muscle memory, that kind of built as a man swimming against women. So now we come down to, is her changing her gender is that an advantage in competition? And to me, it is. I mean, obviously, it seems that it is. I mean, I feel very bad. I feel really sorry for the person that came in second place. I necessarily, me personally, and I'll speak me. I don't agree with it because I do believe it's an unfair advantage.
Okay.
I truly do. I mean, it's just like I'll quote Dave Chappelle. If LeBron James became a transgender and played in the WNBA, would that be a fair advantage? It wouldn't be. He would dominate, right? He'd dominate like no other. He'd be the greatest, So situations like this, you were a man and now you became a woman, and that's your prerogative. That's your own personal. That's your personal belief. That's your personal piece that you want to be able to do. But now when you go compete against people that were born a biological woman, I believe you have an unfair advantage when you're in the competition of sports. And obviously this is showing in this instant. I believe also years ago there was a situation, similar situation in junior college basketball in the Bay Area. There was a transgender that competed in basketball, and parents were in an uproar that a male, a transgender former male, now female, was playing, in women's basketball at that level, and she was dominating. And there was a big uproar about that. I believe that we have to kind of figure it out. I mean, we have to figure out, when it's an unfair advantage, there has to be something done, because obviously it's not an even playing field anymore.
Right.
We definitely, in every sport, when there's an unfair advantage, there is a punishment. There's no difference because your gender change. It shouldn't be any difference. There's a punishment when it's an unfair advantage. We don't allow people to take drugs, enhanced drugs, because it's an unfair advantage. We don't allow people to do certain things in certain sports because it's an unfair advantage. Changing your gender is an unfair advantage in this particular competition of sport. It's an unfair advantage, in my opinion.
And so let me, I'm gonna be devil's advocate just because that's just what I do. I'm gonna ask, unfair advantage to who? To the Leah for her an unfair advantage, or an unfair advantage?
No, I think it's an unfair competition. I'll be frank. It's an unfair advantage to the women that she's competing against that are biologically women from the beginning all the way in.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out. I mean, I feel the exact same way. I just wanted to not have any assumptions, right? I didn't want to hang up off of this call and be like, oh, no, what were they talking about? Let's be clear, right?
I'll be crystal clear with my. I don't have anything to gain or anything, right? It's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You were born a man, you were developed as a man, you were trained as an athlete as a male, and now you're going to compete in women's sports. There is a difference when it comes to that kind of competition. There is a difference. As you can see, I don't know if you showed a picture of them on the podium. She's much larger than the one person that was born as a biological woman. Her muscle definition is completely different. And now it's funny. I know. She's now winning. You weren't winning as a man. Now you changed your gender. Now you're winning as a woman, and now you want all these praises and all these things. But you're winning as an unfair advantage. So I don't see why. I don't understand the praise. Me personally, I feel sorry for the person that came in second place. She's trained all her life to be in that situation.
That's a good point.
To get to that point and be successful and winning college meets, and now she gets beat by someone with the unfair advantage.
Yeah. So there's conversation, and folks, please chime in. Right. Again, we're gonna hit these hard hitting topics. This is what we do, social impact, and no one else is talking about this kind of stuff. My question as well is this: she's good. She's fast, but she's not as fast as like Ledecky, and she's not as fast as Franklin, because there's been conversations about, can she tie them or beat their records? She's not to that point yet, but that's part of the conversation now. And should she get good enough, fast enough to where she can compete in the Olympics, right? The IOC has had kind of wishy-washy, flip-flopping type of requirements or regulations for someone who comes out as trans, and saying, before you can compete, you say you're trans, before you can come compete, you have to go through the genital transformation surgery, you have to change your passport, right? You actually had to go through all of those other steps, not just come out, wave the flag and say, this is me, but you had to actually start going through all of that other process as well. They need to figure that out. But again, so that could be a whole nother separate and that is going to be a whole nother separate conversation when the Summer Olympics come on and she's ready to compete. But she's not winning to the point where she's breaking the Ledecky type records or the Franklin type records. But
I don't think that matters, James. I really don't think that even matters. She's competing at the highest of the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
That she can beat every woman. That's not my conversation. The conversation is the meet she's in. She has an unfair advantage because she used to be a male, now competing against other women.
Yeah,
that are at that level. It's just now. Will this would even be a conversation if she came in second or third place, because the person that came in fourth place should have been in third place and been on the podium, because she has an unfair advantage.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is, that part, all that's the where she places and how great Leah Thompson becomes as a swimmer, or as a woman swimmer, or as a transgender swimmer, to me is irrelevant. If you're competing against women and you have that unfair advantage, then I don't think you should be able to compete. You should be able to compete against other transgender women. That's why we have the sports that way. We have male competing against males and women competing against women, because it gives them more of a level playing field.
Yeah, because there's really no intramural at this highest level of competition. No. There really is no co-ed teams out there, right?
No, there's no co-ed teams in there, and I understand there's no transgender league, or there's no transgenders meets or anything like that. I'm not ignorant to the fact that that's the case. But when we come to competition like this, where it really puts something on the line, everything based on sports that we know is we try to eliminate the unfair advantage.
Mm.
Whether it be football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport you're doing, we try to eliminate the unfair advantage so everybody's on an equal playing field, and the better athlete wins. The best athlete wins in that part. In this case and scenario, there's a gender. We're talking about the gender now, the gender swap thing, and now I guess you're saying is a male athlete more dominant than a woman athlete? Well, I mean, if we just go by times and stuff like that, yes, they have been in these kind of races. Mark Phelps swims faster than the fastest woman.
Yeah, right.
The fastest no time is better than the fastest woman.
Yeah.
So this person right here is a former male who was not successful. He wasn't winning as a man. He changes his gender, and now we're here, and he's starting to become very successful as a transgender swimming amongst women. My question is, okay, even though you transgender into a woman, how come you can't swim with the male competition against that competition?
So so instead of switching over and going on the women's side, having him stay on the okay, interesting. Okay.
On the men's side, I mean, he would still be successful, and he would probably contest when I'm a woman now. How come I can't do it with women? I don't care about that stuff. That's for the courts, and that's for people's public opinion. My opinion
interesting. That's actually, hold on, man. That's actually an interesting perspective that I never thought about. Just because you and look, we probably gonna get some hate mail, but that's all right. We got thick skins, and that's all right. But just because you feel a different way internally, and good for you. Go do what you got to do. Make the changes or whatever. But
yes,
the way you came on this planet is one way. So we got you designated this way. You started out this route. So as opposed to, rightfully so, unfairly putting you into another league, another class, another racing on the other side, keep you where you are. You still be who you are, Leah, but you just continue to train, get better. Practice, just talk about practice, do all of that as a male with the male team.
Yes.
That's an interesting point, and I don't know if that simple common. I'm gonna call it common sense. That conversation has happened yet, because everyone wants to be politically right, politically correct, and do what's best for, I'm gonna say, the larger swath of society, and say, let's make sure that Leah Thomas is taken care of. Let's make sure that the sport is taken care of, the school is taken care of, and let's just go ahead and let her swim with the ladies, with the women's team, right? Because I think folks I think what's happening is folks are saying that that's the easier route to go, as opposed to just dealing with what's right in front of us.
Again, but why do we always have to go the easy route?
No, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that it's right.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm compassionate. I have a compassion for Leah Thompson. I'm sure she's dealing with whatever she has to deal with in this transformation, right?
Yeah.
From becoming a man in the morning, becoming from a man to a woman, and dealing with all the things that come with that.
Yeah,
I get it, but that doesn't negate the fact that when it comes down to when we're in a competitive situation, or when a situation where where the playing field is supposed to be equal, you have an unfair advantage, and no one's talking about that. You have an unfair advantage. Let's be honest. You be a man, and now you're swimming as a woman.
Yeah,
that's like that's like in anything.
That's like was that like Bruce Jenner? Who tried to run for governor over here. Y'all remember Bruce Jenner?
That's a political. But see, that's a political thing.
I'm just saying his name and political. Yeah.
That's an opinion thing. I'm not talking about on the outside, and you walk around, you can be whatever you want to be and do what you want to do. It should be treated like, and have basic human rights to treat things. But now we're coming to a situation where we're going into sport, or we're going to competition. And the thing is to eliminate unfair biases and unfair advantages. In this case, no one wants to say it. They don't want to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But you have unfair advantages to be a man.
I'm trying to pull back. I'm trying to pull off the Band-Aid and get somebody's reaction. But what's interesting is a lot of folks are kind of agreeing with us in terms of what we're saying, and I like what Melanie is saying. I'm glad Leah is smashing records, because if she wasn't, it could be defended. But the point has been proven. It is unfair. Agree. It's all an unfair advantage. Speaking as a woman, we hate that men are biologically stronger physically, but it's a reality. And again, it's. We're not saying, and appreciate you for saying that, Mel, right? Again, we're not saying is negative, bad, or trying to demean or anything of that nature. Look, I always say, look, in my house, look, I wear the pants when my wife holds the belt, right? Right. So she's stronger than me from that perspective, an equal playing field from that perspective. But yeah, when you look at body composition, when you look at bone density, when you look at muscles and tendons and just that perspective, that anatomy perspective right there,
the overall physical makeup is just different. It's different. So with that being said, that unfair advantage is unfortunate in the sports. Let's just not duck the conversation. People are afraid to talk about because she's transgender and want to give a pass. They want to give a pass because they don't want to deal.
That's what I was talking about.
They don't want to deal. They don't want to deal with the backlash. They want to say, "Oh, just ignore that part." You can't ignore that part because the other 11 people that are competing and work their behind off that are biologically women don't have that same advantage of having that male makeup, that physical makeup to compete.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely right. They have every right to be angry and be mad about it. And it's not angry at the fact that they're mad at her because she won. It's mad at the fact that she had an unfair advantage coming to the competition. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we got to be honest at some point and quit. Yeah, exactly. It's BS. It's BS.
Mel comes straight, brother. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just it's BS, and no one wants to say anything about it because they want to be politically correct and they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Hey, I'm sorry, but it's okay to hurt those other 11 women's feelings that lost in that competition that's been training all their life. That's okay to hurt their feelings and those parents and the investment their parents put in them to get to that point and do all that stuff. And now that's okay to help hurt them, but it's not okay to hurt this one person that made a personal choice to change their body makeup and now compete. It's not we can't hurt that person. We can't say anything bad about that person because that's just taboo. We can't do that. We have to accept the fact that, hey, it used to be a man and I want to make consent. I don't believe in that philosophy. I believe in the philosophy, man. We need to just address the elephant in the room and talk about it and come to a medium, and no one's coming to a medium to talk about it. It's unfair for transgender males to go compete in women's sports. Bottom line.
It's kind of,
and that's in every sport.
in the conversation,
that's in every
right?
sport.
Yeah, and just
there's not, I hope ESPN and all of them, they pick it up and talk about it. It's unfair advantage. Whether they want to believe it or not, whether they don't want to be political or not, whether they don't want to get backlash from LGBT or whatnot, you got to speak in truths, man, at some point about this same situation. It's unfair. Jenner didn't do that. He competed as a male, and he was successful as a male athlete.
Yeah.
Great. And then he decided to change his gender later on. This person's changed his gender now in the spirit of when they're in their collegiate sports, and now they're competing at that level, and they just have that super unfair advantage. You can already say, like I said, as a male, he was ranked 400 and something, 72, I believe. That was the number, 462 or something like that, amongst college swimmers. Now you come all the way over to women's sports, and you're ranked in the top 10. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's not fair. That's just not fair. And like I said, your failures as a male athlete doesn't give you the right to go compete in women's sports and become a success just because you changed your gender. That I don't think that's right at all.
Brother, so you hitting on all cylinders right now. I'm gonna put two comments up. One just had me laughing while you were talking. But hey, Tony, appreciate you for the comments and glad you were on the show last time as well. But you said exactly what I said a few minutes ago, right? All transgender competition should be from the way they started, male or female. And Melanie is saying, look, this is one rant, one tangent from Mr. Montel Allen that she can get behind. So, but think about this. What's interesting, and you made a statement about should ESPN or Fox or somebody pick this up. I just did a search while you were talking. No sports network has picked this up. That story was from the New Yorker, folks. And looking at all these other posts that I just did a search for Leah Thomas. It's New York Post, NBC News, The Hill, NBC News, New York Post. So no Fox Sports, Fox News, no ESPN, no CBS Sports. No one's talked about this since it came out. Well, it's been out for a while, but since it kind of hit the major conversations when she did her last interview. So that's a shame as well for those avenues and those venues where people go to get this type of information should be getting this type of context. Why is this story not being shared on the major sports networks? Why are they only talking about, and we're going to talk about it too, the Deshaun Watson stuff or the Colin Kaepernick stuff or anything of that nature? But this, I think, is a messy story because no one has an answer for it yet, which is why no one else is talking about it.
But again, you just said, why do we have to have an answer for it? You know, we can solve the answer or have the answer.
But no one's. Everyone's making, in my opinion, everyone's making the assumption that it's just going to get swept under the rug, as opposed to addressing it and having the conversation about it by saying, "Leah, you're swimming with the guys. Make it said and done." No one's coming out and just saying that, putting that stake in the ground and saying this is how it is, this is how it's going to be. Everyone has to money quarterback it like we're doing, right? And still have conversations 1 and 2 weeks after the original story broke. Right? Why can't the school come out and say something? Why can't the NCAA just come out and say this is how it's going to be moving forward? In end of the case. I
mean, well, we know why they don't want to come out and just say it, because they don't want to be sued. Let's just keep it 100% real. No one wants to be sued. You know, no one wants to have that conversation to be sued, or no one wants to say, "Hey, you're defending my character," or "You're depriving," and go through this whole, you know, whatever legal mumbo jumbo that they have to go through for that. But I'm very real with myself, and I'm going to be real. I think that's just unfair. It's unfair that they get to compete in that arena, because, like I said, we're always appeasing that one person, you know, because they got a different makeup. Instead of, what about appeasing those 11 other women that lost in that race? Yeah. You know, they worked hard. Their families invested so much money in them to get to that point for them to have success as well, and now it's taken away. Yeah. And I'm not saying Leah Thomas is not working hard, but I'm just sorry you have an unfair advantage with your biological makeup in order to compete in that realm. It's just like, we'll use your thing in baseball. It's like, man, if you took Randy Johnson and he went to go pitch softballs to softball, the speed is completely different. Yeah. You know what I mean? He throws 100, 110 miles per hour, and I think there's only like maybe 1 or 2 women softball players that throw that much. He throws that much all the time. So it's just an unfair advantage, man. And the thing with sports is the one thing we love. I think we always love about sports. We always know that unfair advantage is somehow there's always been trying to be removed, so we compete on an even playing field.
Yeah, talk about that. Yes, sir. Yep.
That's why we play sports. That's why it's so dynamic. That's why we watch the tournament right now. You know why we watch the tournament right now? because we got these small schools in here beating it because of unfair advantage. There is no unfair advantage.
No,
we get in the tournament.
That's
5
when they
players
show
get on
out.
the court. Your
That's
5
when
players
they
get on
showing
the
out.
court. And the first person, the guys that make the most bucket win. It's more of a fair advantage. So we see the St. Petersburg's make it to the Sweet 16s over the bigger schools, over the USCs and over these other big schools, because there's that unfair advantage is removed. It's removed. And that's the part of competition that we love and sports we love. This situation with Leah Thomas, like I said, I'm glad that she's winning. I'm glad she's actually going to become a face and become an advocate for being transgender and competing in transgender sports. But the bottom line, at the end of the day, you have an unfair advantage competing against other women, and now you're becoming ranked and all these other good things. Your accolades are becoming because you have an unfair advantage, not because of all the hard work and everything you put in. I don't think
accolades have asterisks by
and this is what I said. If you put in the hard work and everything, you were that great, you would be doing the same thing in the male competition. You would be competing as male because you were a male. You were a man. You were at that level. You were the 400 one of the top 400.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great accomplishment in itself. But that's where you were at. Now you come over to women, and you're now in the top 25 or top 10 of where you're in college swimming now. Obviously, there's a difference, and there's an unfair advantage, and no one wants to say the elephant in the room. The reason being is because you used to be a man. I'll say it.
What you say? I'll say it. We'll say it.
I'll say it. You should be a man.
But there is one thing that is true about this whole thing. I can't throw underhand either. I can.
I know, Melody. I was just trying to prove a point, but I got you. I understand.
I try, but that's amazing, man. That's a good point. And typically, right, many weeks pass. We'll stream. I'll go to the gym late at night. I'll turn on ESPN radio, and I'll hear them talking about the story that we talked about. If I hear ESPN talking about this tonight, after all the time that the story has already been out, I know we got a rat in the room. Somebody needs to chip in some sponsorship or something because again, we're the only ones really, and I've done my research from a social impact sport recording perspective that have talked about this particular story and have said how we truly feel about it and probably what really needs to happen in terms of what not just Penn State, NCAA, sporting overall, parents on both sides just need to go out. Someone still needs to say what we are saying. It has to be said as opposed to be implied and it's assumed. That's just how society is. But someone has to come out and say, Leah, shouts out, congratulations on what you're doing, but you're gonna have to go back over there and get into the other pool and swim with Tony Davis and swim with Montel out.
And that's my opinion. Or you have to create a lane. You have to create their own lane. Where if there is enough transgender women swimming, you need to have that competition with them.
Yep.
I just don't believe you. I don't believe you can go over to this thing and really rave and praise your success over here with the unfair advantage. That's like when we competition. There's a 16-year-old playing Pop Warner against 12-year-olds. It's unfair advantage. You can't do that, man. You just can't have those advantages when we're supposed to be playing on an even tilt in the land of sports. And let's even take another one. I'm tired of everybody saying we're all treated the same. We're not. We are not treated the same in no form or fashion. It's good to believe that utopian thought. Hey, we're treated equal, treated the same. That's not the case. At work, we're not treated the same. The person that has 10 years experience is treated different than the person that's new. The person that sits in the corner is treated different than the person that's in the office.
Yes, sir.
We're not treated the same in no level of anything that we do in our professional world. Now, we're treated the same when it comes to we're supposed to have benefits and the commonality things. Yes, that's art. We're supposed to be treated the same when it comes to respect. Absolutely. But when it comes to performance and your output and what you do at your job, we are not treated the same.
That's true.
She's at her job. She's at her job. And when you do things with an unfair advantage and you cheat at your job, you know what happens in the real world? Outside of sports, you get fired.
You about to lose your job.
Yeah, exactly. Just when you do something outside of your realm to give yourself an advantage, trade secrets or whatever it may be, whatever you do something outside of the realm of your job that is deemed unfair advantage, which we take training all the time, James, in our job about unfair treatment, which you're not supposed to do. When you do something outside of that, that's grounds for termination. This person has an unfair advantage in the thing she's competed in her job or what she's doing. I'm not saying termination. I think they need to find an alternative, or have her compete, or have Leah Thompson compete back with the males where her biological makeup is at. I think that would be fair, because I don't think it was fair to those other 11 women that lost and don't have a chance to, and not being able to compete at that level just because of a physical makeup.
Correct.
Because of the difference of the physical makeup.
Yeah. I agree. I do. I agree 100%. I purposely wanted to drag the conversation out because I wanted to hear this, and be the doubting Thomas, right? Just have the conversation, and I'm glad we did. Hopefully, folks are getting some clarity. We'll find out tonight if ESPN picks up on this story. Tony was asking, can someone check and see if an African American male tried this before in women's basketball? He thinks it was tried before, but wasn't acceptable. Not sure. It's an interesting question, Tony. I'll take a look at that. Maybe we'll revisit that next time. All right, man. Let's get on to the next story. I'm surprised you brought up a story about baseball.
You
threw me off on this baseball story. So I know I got some Cubs fans in the room here, so shouts out to them. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The Ohtani rule. This man is the new Bo Jackson. Right, because Ohtani, so he's pitcher for
the Angels, right?
For the Angels. What you know about it? Come on now, you don't know about
this.
Let's let it marinate. I come out with the drama. Pitcher for the Angels, Anaheim Angels. Shouts out to the Halos. The man is madness on the mound, right? He can throw 100 miles an hour like it's nobody's business. But not only can he pitch well, but you put a bat in his hand, and he's got a high slugging percentage as well. So more and more folks are going to see him hit home runs every time he gets up to bat. He's a huge specimen. He's 6 something. He's taller than me. Obviously weighs more than me as well. But the man is just a dual threat on the mound and at the plate. So now is a Ohtani rule that says that the pitcher can stay in the game and serve as a DH if the manager chooses to do that. So because this man has changed the game so much just in his play, in his performance, and I'm gonna say what he's bringing to the game, right? Getting folks to come and watch this game, which you find boring, but now you got a dual threat. You got a guy on the mound and a guy at the plate who can not only throw 100 miles per hour, but he can also hit 400 some feet. He can stay in the game after he's done pitching and still serve as a DH. And this is a new rule that has just come out of arbitration, out of the owners' meetings. That's going to be in place for at least the next 5 collective bargaining conversations. So it's going to be in place for a little while. But talk a little about this. What you think this young man coming into the league from Japan, got a rocket for an arm, and got just biceps that can hit a ball 422 feet anytime that he wants to. And now the entire game has shifted for him. Is he the face of baseball because he has been able to change this entire dynamic? That's one question. And does this make you more interested in the game in and of itself? Because now you got someone who you've paid to see. He's pitching, but okay, you know what? After 4.5 innings, maybe when he's done, he can't throw that smoke anymore. We know he's still going to be at least out there behind the plate. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I think he is one of the faces of baseball, obviously. I think the rule now gives them a situation where they can keep one of the better athletes on the field,
mm-hmm.
As far as either hitting or pitching. And if he gets poor pitching, he can still hit. And I think that's a good thing because now he can come in, and if he's pissed off about his game, he's pitching, he can really concentrate on hitting and getting the ball out there. And I believe pitchers are changing in that realm. I think he's one of the great ones. I think the young prospect Hunter Green in Cincinnati, who's also a hitter and also going to be a pitcher, the lefty. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to
go
do
ahead, brother. He's talking. Go ahead, but I'm just
man. I mean, I know. I'm doing my research on it, but I know Hunter Green is a guy that he was hitting really good in AAA ball as well as a pitcher. So I think now that's the new dynamic that's going to go in baseball. And I think that might be one of the requirements. If you're a great pitcher, we need you to be able to hit, especially now the DH rule is going to be applied across Major League Baseball. It's not going to just be in the American League. Yes. So now with that, I think it does a couple of things, and I think it's a fair one. It saves owners on money. I don't have to just go get a hitter. My pitcher can hit. I don't just have to go find a hitter, right? They just come in and hit. Those days I think are kind of be gone. You have to be a person that can contribute on the defensive side as well, because now we have pitchers that are able to get up on the mound and do their things and pitch. I believe Ohtani is going to be the guy. He's setting tone. I think over in Japan it's a norm where the pitchers hit very, very well, and not anomaly like it is in the United States. Right. I think that's going to open the doors for more Japanese players to come in. That makes the game more international. And then two, I think now we're going to see guys like Hunter Green and these upcoming prospects that can hit the pitch at the same time to be able to come in and do their thing and showcase their talents on both sides to become megastars in the game. So does it make me watch the game more? I don't know if it makes me watch the game right now, but it makes it more interesting to say, like, wow, we're going to see now the best athlete never leave the field. He doesn't have to leave the baseball field at all. Or one of the best, I should say the best, but one of the better athletes.
One of the better ones. So next time I'm in San Diego and the Padres are playing, I'm gonna take you to a game. I'm gonna make you sit through the whole 3 hours. But let me think about this too as well. Baseball is the only major sport where it's been up until this point expected that one of the best players on the field only plays one side of the ball, only plays offense. Yep. The pitcher, right? What? Come on, and Hawk Dana's here. Dana's got to skate both ways, right?
Yeah.
Basketball, football, well, except for football because they're out there crushing each other. But again, you think about it, why in baseball has it been always assumed, like Melanie was saying, that the pitcher has to suck and can't be able to hit the ball out there, right? And she's talking about, remember when baseball players were fat and out of shape, like the direction baseball is going of actually being an athlete, being out there. Because every kid growing up, played baseball, obviously was out there wanting to play either catcher, first base, or pitch. If you didn't play those positions, you played any other positions, you did the best that you could, but you made sure that you hit. But you knew both sides of the ball. You knew both sides of the game. Why now when they're making these unrestricted contracts, right? Because you get paid more in baseball than you do in anywhere else, or you now only have to play half of the game or 4.5 innings of the game. This just makes sense, man. This, I think, is going to be appealing to maybe not folks that are completely out of the game, because again, from the length of time of a game, again, 3 hours is a long time for the most part, and seeing some of the other things that they're trying to bring in, like the pitch clock. I don't like that. I do like the DH across the entire league, and I like what Ohtani has done ever since he's come in. How he's weathered even the storm of some racial issues about him playing and coming over, and the fact that he doesn't speak English and having the kind of conversations about that. Like, come on, man, he's out there to play baseball and he's doing a fantastic job. They're changing the rules for him.
The one part of the conversation, or the one part of the article I didn't quite understand it. Maybe you can shed some light on it. Can he be a DH without pitching in a game? Like, can he be the designated DH and not pitch that day of the game and still be a DH for another game? Because if he's hitting that, like the way he was hitting it last year, which was very high in the slugging percentage, especially in positions of scoring, why can't he be the DH every night? And does that also mean wear and tear on his arm? Pitching later on down the line with him DHing more often than just the games he's pitching in.
That's a good point. And I wonder, we'll take a look at the rules on that. But as I said right here, under the new rules, Ohtani will be able to remain in the game as a DH no matter how long he lasts on the mound. So they'll put him on account. You've got to, right? You've got to take care of.
What about
you're paying for the arm? But you're paying for the arm.
Yeah. But what about games he's not on the mound? He's still. I mean, he's a really good hitter. He can go. So what about the games he's not on the mound? Can he still contribute to the game by being a DH?
That's third person looking in right now. I would say yeah, because that's just another position that's on the field on the roster. But again, the Anaheim is paying for that arm. They're not necessarily paying for anything else. So they're going to protect his ability to throw that fastball and that curveball more, I think, than they're going to pay for him hitting home runs. I just, again, that's where his bread is buttered.
I agree with you. I do agree with you until he starts hitting 25, 30 home runs.
He was in the home run derby. No, he was in the home run derby as a pitcher, which blew me away. right? And I was cheering for this man. Let me tell you, if he had, everyone watched the home run derby for this guy, not for anyone else. That's crazy.
But now he's going to get more attempts at bat.
Good point,
and
man.
He's going to get more attempts to go ahead. I'm saying, does that put him in a different category? Because, like I said, if he's not pitching that day, but yet he's still swinging and he hits a home run in the game he's not pitching in, and he starts to get more bats and he starts to get more comfortable with the game and starts throwing the pitches and being successful as a hitter, does that change? Does that change the perception now? Because I'm telling you, Hunter Green, he's a younger version of this guy.
Yeah,
he was a high school phenom. He went straight from high school to the majors. I know he's been a great hitter in all of the single A, triple A, double A, whatever he played. Now he's going to the majors, and now with this rule, I'm saying guys like that coming in, are they going to change the way the game is looked at from a pitcher standpoint? Because if you're a pitcher, you can hit really, really well. Mm-hmm. I don't see why you just can't be the DH all the
time. Man, they're going to be scheming for Ohtani as opposed to that.
But is that a disadvantage? That's not a disadvantage, right?
It's not a disadvantage to the Angels for sure, right?
Yeah, if he's a pitcher, and you know he can hit 25 home runs a year and bat close to 300, why is that so wrong for him to be a batter? Because those are what batters do, and that's what a successful batter does. If he's pitching if he's hitting anywhere close to 300 and can get you 20 home runs, we call that a Hall of Fame career if you could do that throughout your career.
Wow. Look, within this article is an interesting segue that I was going to talk about, right? So has Ohtani kind of set the bar too high for future two-way players, right? Is he making the mark for what's to come? He's going to be the standard.
Or is he going to break a new ceiling? Is he breaking a new ceiling? I don't say he's breaking. Is he breaking a new ceiling? Is this going to be the new athlete of baseball?
I don't think we would mind that, to be honest with you. From what I've seen from interviews and his character and just his work ethic, getting out there and getting it done. And obviously, as we're talking about his stats speak for it. So the numbers don't lie, right? He's out there doing what he needs to do when he's out there on the field. So that could be a very interesting thing to see. So I'm gonna be watching Angels quite a bit next season and to see what's going on, because culturally, from athletic ability, again, being able to play both sides, he's breaking a new ceiling. This is huge.
Yeah, he's breaking a new ceiling. I don't think he's.
Come on through, Mel. Look. Hey, if Mel probably got a Tito's in her hand. Look, come on through. You know the keys to the front door. Come on the show right now if you want to. Don't be bashful. You got the key. I'll send you the link if you lost it, but you got the keys to the front door. This is going to be real good to see. This is a good feel good story, because this is Tito. There you go. Right, it's Tito's time. And because I don't think anyone really expected this. We probably expected someone else to be that game-changing, altering, scheming for player. But this guy just came, showed up, practice, showed up to the games, did his work, put in the time. Still really early on in his career as well, and it's just, again, doing the Bo Jackson thing. Just I call it the Bo Jackson thing, but playing both sides of it.
Hey, you don't. But now that you said that, this gives me even another perspective on it. This prolongs his career as a Major League Baseball player as long as he can hit. Wow. When the arm is noodle and the arm can't throw anymore, and the arm can't do it, he can become a professional DH person. As long as he can still hit that ball at a higher rate, this prolongs his career. So the Tommy John surgeries and all that stuff that normally would either eliminate someone's career or take them out of baseball or really put them way to the back trying to work their way up. This gives him, I think, another opportunity to have a longevity in his career. Because if he, like I said, if he can continue to hit at a higher rate and hit home runs, I don't see any reason why he's not playing almost every night or every other night before he has to pitch. Because he's an instant offensive kind of guy on your team. And everybody knows you got to have bats. You got to have guys that can hit the ball. If he's better than the other 9 that you got in there, he needs to be put in that situation where he can bat.
No disagreement from me. I'm just liking this new overlay I put together right before the show. So I'm liking the way we lined up here. I didn't have our names lined up yet, but I'm liking this little effect we got. Me, okay.
Yeah.
See, like a squirrel, man. I can't pay attention to with too many
It's
things
all
at one
good.
time.
It's all good,
But
man.
no, but this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I love the fact that this is happening. Maybe again, this will get you out to a game. Just do the Padres and the Angels play? Let's hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they play interleague play. They
Bruh.
play. They play against
Okay.
Philly.
All right. I'm coming back for that game. And me and you going. Peanuts are on me.
Gotcha. I'm with you.
Quit messing with me. All right. We got I hinted at this earlier during some random rants that I talked about, but Colin Kaepernick is in the news again. And it's a good thing, right? Cap's out there, he's out there putting in some work. He's out there staying in shape. He's out there. Shouts out to the folks that are subscribing. Appreciate you that. I got to do something with that widget, though. I don't like that popping up in the middle of the screen, but we appreciate you. He's had 2 great workouts with, I know he's worked out with the Seahawks. I think he's worked out with the Saints as well, or he's worked out at least with some of the receivers for New Orleans. But listen, coach over in Seattle is saying, let's take a look at him one more again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cap is look, regardless of what you think about the man, the myth, the legend, or what he stands for, what he stood for, what he kneeled for, all that stat sheet, numbers, he was 1 play away from winning the Super Bowl. The man can still ball, and seeing him in his training sessions, he still got some steps, right? And to hear elite athletes that are in the league right now saying Colin can still come out here and compete for a starting job. What do you think about this, man? Because again, this now, I wonder if this is now his next season, right? Now with so much movement that's happening within the league, a lot of quarterbacks moving back and forth. We'll talk about Deshaun here in a minute. You know, the fact that a lot of the quarterbacks have either retired or transitioned on. Russell's over in Denver now. There's a good spot for him in Seattle because Coach Carroll loves him.
Yep.
He's called him back twice to come work out with the crew. What do you think about this? Colin Kaepernick wearing number 7 in Seattle.
Okay, I got 2 folds.
Come on,
I'm gonna play my folds on it. So, the first fold, as an athlete, as a player, as a competitor on the field, I'm all for it. I think he deserves a chance. If he's better than what you're bringing into camp, I hope he gets signed and he can compete. I'm happy that he's still out there, still following his dreams, and he's doing it the right way. He's out there, he's competing, he's working out with the receivers, and they're giving him praises and everything. That's the great thing. Now, let's flip the other side of the coin. Colin Kaepernick called the NFL, slavery, said a lot of bad things about him. And it's a contradictory message. Like, you call him slavery and you call this stuff, but yet you want to go work for him again. I'm talking about the NFL as a whole. And I can't take credit for that. Charlamagne the God, he kind of was having a discussion on one of his shows and I was listening to it. And he brought that same point up. He was just like, that's the contradictory kind of part for, like, you bash the NFL so bad, you called him out on the racist ways. You called him out on all these situations, but yeah, you want to go back. Now you want to go back in and get another paycheck from the same people. So that part with Kaepernick is that wishy-washy part with me is it's not settling with me. Like, how's that going to work for you? Because, let's be honest, if you do get a job in the NFL, all lights are going to be on you. Everybody's going to be flashing cameras on you. What messages are going to come out? And as much as I don't agree with the way the NFL does things, you can't badmouth the people that's paying you your checks.
That's true. You're not the owner. That's right. You're not the owner, right? Yeah.
You can't do that, and you can't put that situation out there. The athlete, Colin Kaepernick, I want to see him do his thing and get back out there and go. The social part of Colin Kaepernick and the social intertwines that he has and things he's been doing and saying, it's like you are a hero, you are the martyr, to kind of bring up to spark this stuff, and now you're going back to work for the man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's contradicting himself, right? He's coming out.
It's contradictory, kind of. So I don't know where I sit with that. I'm sure I will support him. I mean, if he gets the opportunity, I wish him much success. But I mean, that's just a super mixed message, that you're sending. That's like saying, hey, I'm not for police brutality, but yet I'm going to go become a cop, and I'm going to join the guys that were beat me up. You know what I mean? It doesn't resonate that way. It doesn't resonate that way. And I think this tarnishes, and I'm going to be real, this tarnishes his legacy. I think if he does go back in the NFL, I really does, because I think he set a tone where he didn't take their stuff. He's like he's like our version of Jim Brown.
Wow. Okay.
You know,
okay.
He was a guy that was in the NFL. He was pretty much his thing. He got blackballed. He stood up for what he meant, and he kept going with him despite what was going on. And he still was able to have success even after the NFL, being successful, kind of like Jim Brown. He, very controversial figure. When he was with the Browns, he stood up for his political rights and his political beliefs. He kind of got exercised out of the league, even though how great he was, but he kept going on. Colin Kaepernick kind of falls in that category for me, and I think his legacy is strong right now, saying, hey, he fought against the giant, and he won. He won. He stood up what he believed in. He took a knee. Now everybody understands why he takes a knee, and everybody's kind of, even if you don't agree with it, you understand why. And now to go back for the people that kind of oppressed you is kind of, it doesn't sit well with me. And I think it will hurt his legacy in the end. I do believe it will.
So will it hurt his legacy? And I hear what you're saying. Will it hurt his legacy if he comes back and doesn't align himself with a team that has an opportunity to win, right? He comes in and is in Cleveland Browns type of rankings, right? Just doesn't win, unfortunately. Or does it hurt his legacy from the fact that, again, he was up there high in the mountain, waving the flag, waving the banner, kneeling and saying these things. But like you said, now he wants to come back and work for this organization. Do you think he's trying to, and again, this is me, devil's advocate, just asking questions. Yeah. Do you think that he wants to come back in and try to work with the Players Union, Players Association, and try to make some positive change? Do you think day one when he comes back and he's got a uniform on, he's going to kneel again? What kind of change from a social perspective do you think he can bring, or is it just he's hungry to suit him up and get back out there on the field?
That's the thing I don't know. That's the part that I'm struggling with. I don't know what social change he can go in there and make. Let's be honest with you. He can't go in there and be a distraction to the team. You cannot.
Good point.
If you're a distraction to the team with those situations, you're going to end up being cut again, or you're going to end up being, we're going to go through this whole ordeal all over again, with Colin Kaepernick. I believe, the X's and O's he's fine with. Yeah. He was great. He received a settlement from the NFL. That's already been known. No one knows the amount, but he received a settlement from the NFL. He got his money. His his bag.
Yeah, you're right. It's not money. It has nothing to do with cash. Money. He's got movie deals and Netflix specials and all that. He's got his papers. So
now you're sending this mixed message. You said you wanted to oppose the man. You wanted to kneel for that because of police brutality. They ostracized you in that whole situation. You called the NFL a plantation. You called them racist and all this other thing. And now you want to go back and get a check. Now you want to go back to them and go get a paycheck from the same people that you were calling racist and said they were a plantation. That sends a mixed message.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I'm 100%.
And I don't know where he falls in that. I don't know where can you go in and make change from intertwine by being the quarterback. Yeah, I think you can. You can make some political notions, but it's not as powerful as what you've done so far.
His time is almost past.
Yeah, that tarnishes your legacy because who you are. Because, like I said, and I'm not saying he's Jim Brown, but he's falls in that Jim Brown-like legacy of saying, "Hey, he fought against the system. He rolled what he believed in all the way out in the league, and that's fine because he's financially he's not hurting, so that was fine. He did what he did, and his legacy lives on. We will talk about Colin Kaepernick 10 years from now with that. I think if he goes back to the league, we don't talk about him no more. It's like, oh man, he went back to the same people that said that he did that he was accusing and did all those things. He's being hypocritical in his actions. If that makes sense. Very hypocritical.
Yeah.
What you said before that.
And that's not a good look, right? At all. If he's trying to make a point, if he's trying to set a precedence for things going on. So I think he will get back into the league before it's all said and done, to be honest with you. I don't know if now is the time, but I think before it's all said and done, he'll get offered a spot. I don't know if he'll get offered the spot he wants, the starting role. I think he'll get offered a spot on a team. I think Carroll will be the one who will say, come on through. We'll work it out. We'll do what you need to do. If you feel the need to kneel during the national anthem, go ahead and do that. I think Carroll is the kind of coach that will fall into that likeness form, right? But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to look at him with the same type of I'm not going to say no, reverence is definitely the wrong word, but just the same type of impact that he's had up to this point. He's doing more now on the sidelines, again, putting out his little Netflix specials and putting out and doing all the other things that he's doing behind the scenes from a social conscious perspective. Now he's going to go out here and he's going to get hooked up with a team. And we thought different stories, but we thought Cam Newton was going to be major when he came back. Right. And he just wasn't, and they just fizzled away.
Well, I'm not worried about the play. The play part doesn't even bother me much. I mean, you're either going to be successful.
Well, you got to think about both. You got to think about both of them, though. I think you got to worry about both aspects. But I think I see where you're going with it.
Well, but Cam doesn't have a really social impact. Cam is kind of just like we admire him because he's an athlete. Colin Kaepernick, we admired him as an athlete, but now we admire him as a kind of a person that's has some say in civil rights and in the fight against police brutality and in standing up to the conglomerate of billionaires and really having a social impact with his voice and his actions. I don't look at Cam that way. Cam didn't do anything. That should be dressed funny. Pretty much about it. But I mean, we know Colin Kaepernick has done some really powerful things from a standpoint from him just being him.
Yeah.
So I really it's just very contradictory in what he's saying. Like before, when you were in the mix and you were in the middle and you were going against them, you were like, hey, shine this, they're slaves, they're a plantation, they use us, they do all these things for us. Even in his Netflix show, he shows where they measure you for the combine, how they do you. Yeah, like I said, he's a modern James Brown. Yeah, how they do you and how they how they did to the slaves, how they analyze their bodies and measurements and all that stuff. Now you're going to go back to the people and collect a check from the same people that you were just calling that.
Yeah, and
they treated you that way, right? Remember when he took a kneel, those owners were against him. Jerry Jones and them were very outspoken about how they felt about Colin Kaepernick,
all of them,
and how he should be a part of the league and all this stuff.
All of them.
So the fact that you're going to go back and go get and collect a check from them if you do make a team, it just impacts his legacy, man. I know he has a burden heart to still want to play, and he didn't leave things the way he wanted to, but I think you made more of a mark on this world, by the things you did than just playing football. You really made your legacy, man, by standing up to everybody, and really bringing awareness to these things. And now that it's kind of having an awareness, and that's kind of took a legacy on its own with Black Lives Matters and all the things and the unfortunate things that happened to George Floyd, Floyd and all those things and all those people. And it's a real awareness about those things now. And now you're getting ready to go back and kind of go collect a check from them, man. It's not. It doesn't sit well with me, unfortunately.
No,
and maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No,
maybe everybody look over it. I'm just speaking my truth, what I see out of it.
Oh, wait a minute. So you just went down a whole nother path because we are a forgiving society.
Yeah,
America is
winning trumps a lot.
Right.
Yeah. If he's winning, people will forget quick.
Yeah,
they will forget quick. Seattle fans will go crazy. They'll be rocking the dome and doing all that things if he wins. But I don't care if he won or not. I'm talking about from seeing his legacy from where he came from to where he's at now, to how Spike Lee wanted to do a movie about him and all these other different things about what the situation he went through. To say now I'm gonna go get a check from the same people that supposedly oppressed me or supposedly put me in a bad situation. I'm gonna go back to those same people and do that.
Crazy.
I have a problem with that because that sends a mixed message not only to me, and I'm an adult. I can only imagine what kind of mixed message that sends to kids that are going through it.
Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Mel is talking about, if he isn't going to start, why bring him on to let him be the drama, disagree? No team wants that. Yeah, the distraction again. Yeah, and I'm just bringing it up to be like y'all don't attack me, guy talking. I'm here being the Felix to the Unger. I may have just dated myself with that statement, right? I'm here, just to be the instigator of the conversation, man. Let's see. Football is about money, not social impact. Hold on. Let me read this twice. Unfortunately, I think he can make a bigger impact outside of the NFL unless they start to listen to him and make a change. Man, that right there is completely on point. That's it right there.
Yeah, that's hard right there.
That's it right there. Wow.
Yeah. And let's be honest, NFL's not listening. They can care less. They can care less about Colin Kaepernick.
NFL moved on.
Yeah, they can care less about Colin Kaepernick and his cause. They can care less about that. They can care. All they want to do is make this money off the Super Bowl and these games on TV. we forget at the end of the day, they're all about, those owners and those guys are all about business. We're the only ones that, fans are the only ones that care.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I agree. Yeah.
Fanatics, right? Short for fan. We're the ones that care about it. Tony found that story that he was talking about the African American who what was it? Tried to
basketball, right?
Yeah, tried in women's basketball. Yeah, so found the name Kai Adams, and apparently in 2014 said he had attempted suicide after ESPN came out with a story. I'm gonna do some research on that, man. Thanks for finding that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some research on that. Maybe we'll talk about that next week as well. So there's
let's
a
wrap
story.
up with Deshaun Watson. Let's wrap up with Deshaun Watson.
Okay, now you rushing me off the show. Which you guys? Okay, yeah, you got places to go, right? I ain't mad at you.
No, yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
All charges have been dropped. There is nobody else looking for you that we know of. All of the allegations, all of the situations with all of the issues happening with you, with situations in Texas are gone. Your record has been, I'm gonna say, it's expunged. Okay, well, now you're being moved. You've been traded to Cleveland. Them Browns got you now. Where's old boy going now? Who was the quarterback for the Browns? Baker Mayfield. No more commercials of you and your wife in the in the stadium, right? They done kicked you to the curb. What do you think about this right here? And I'm asking the folks in the audience as well, right? So now Deshaun Watson's been kind of cleared, and there are no charges pending against him for all of the rape allegations and sexual misconduct allegations. He's been given another shot at another franchise who didn't do too bad, right? Last season, didn't do too bad, and a lot of coaches, a lot of players are saying, Deshaun is still a good man when it comes between the lines. Can actually run a football team and can actually produce and be our starting quarterback. And now he's got this opportunity in Cleveland. Talk to me, brother.
Well, I mean, he's cleared of the criminal. He's not cleared of the civil.
Go ahead now. Talk about that. Break that down.
He still has the civil system coming at him this way. And I truly believe, I think this is a dropping the ball. I really do. I think I said from day one, the Texans knew about this situation with Deshaun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Texans knew. And I think the Texans should be liable and accountable since they did know. Let's talk about the law a little bit. Mm-hmm. If me and you were in a car and I committed a crime, you're going to get charged with that crime as well.
That's true.
Because especially if you knew about it, we were both being charged with a crime that you didn't stop me. Texas had a situation to stop him doing whatever he was doing with these women. They gave him a massage table. They gave him the Texas massage table. The Texas organization gave him one for him to use in all these situations. And people always want to kind of just look the other way. The Texans are liable. And I think, and me personally, I'll speak on record, and I don't care what the Texans made this situation go away, because I think people are going to start digging and knowing that they were liable as well. I believe the organization made some of this situation go away, in my opinion.
No, I look. There's 22 of these cases that so that's why I got this highlighted too. There's 22 instances that we know of.
There's no way in the world you're gonna tell me that all of a sudden 22 women were wrong in a situation like this,
right?
All the way.
That's 22. That's 22 accusations too many. Right?
Yeah, that's too many. That's too many. So I think the Texans and their front office and their people made some of this situation go away the way they're going to make it go away. I think Deshaun will be held on for civil. Money doesn't fix anything, but I hope it helps and it helps the victims in whatever way it can help them out.
Yeah,
I agree. But Deshaun on the football field is going to be perfectly fine. That's not even a question. He'll be okay. He'll get it right. He'll be in Cleveland. That's okay. I just have a problem. I have the problem with. It's the cover-up. Let's call it what it is, the cover-up. I have a problem with the cover-up.
Got you with the okie doke over here.
Yeah. There's 22 women that charge you with a sexual. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know if Deshaun was fully guilty of all the crime charges. I don't know what he did or how it was. I was still in his kind of corner. I was kind of trying to figure out, because we never heard none of the details.
Right.
Except that he properly touched someone improperly. I know that one. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really hear the other details. So I was like, okay, he's going to fight in the court. Maybe, maybe it was, whatever he did, but I don't know if it was to the extreme where he was raping somebody and that thing. So I was kind of still in this corner rooting for him. But I'm going to tell you right now that this situation has been expunged and gone away, I want to know about the cover-up, because somebody's covering up for Deshaun's situation in his ways that he's doing. You know what I mean? And with that being the cover-up, what do they have to gain by covering this situation of making it go away?
Or how many other times has this happened with other players that Houston is covering up, right? That's
yes.
I think that's where the underlying thing is. I think it's, to be honest with you, I think it's bigger than Deshaun Watson, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You hit it right there.
I think this goes even higher up the ranks. I'm not making assumptions. I'm not saying anything, but just it looks like a pig, or what, quacks like a duck, what all those statements that you want to make. I think this goes higher up the organization, just in terms of possible maybe emails that have been exchanged or photos and videos, right? They just don't want this smoke right here. They don't want this opened up and the light shine on the Texans organization. So
yes.
what's easiest to do at this point, we're going to let you go over here and we're going to go ahead and move on from this. You have all of that. All the other cases, all the charges from a criminal perspective are gone. Deshaun, you're going to have to deal with those civil charges and all. You got enough money in your bank account, and you can probably deal with that. But that's, from a Houston mind perspective, that's on y'all now, right? That's on you.
That's exactly how I see it.
It's crazy. Look, Tony, so I didn't say it, but Tony's talking about the owner, right? I was thinking about, what's the dude's name from the Patriots?
Kraft, Robert Kraft.
Kraft, right? Remember the whole Kraft situation, right? I mean, that conveniently got washed away and pushed under the rug. Look, that was just bad news. Come on, Robert Kraft, you can't be doing that.
This one hits a little bit different. Let's just keep it 100. African American male, successful athlete, charged with 22 cases of sexual assault or possible rape or sexual misconduct.
Right.
I saw, at least from the stuff that was coming out when it was really hot, the sexual misconduct. Obviously, he was touching on women inappropriately, But like I said, down the line, in these situations, the NFL and those organizations, especially on their high-profile athletes, they know everything that you are into before you into it. They know what you get into when you get to it. Now, you can't tell me that after the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, allegations or situations, they didn't know about Deshaun's behavior or what was going on. They know. And I hate to say it, but they know. And with that being said, if you let it continue to go on to 22, maybe even more, and you did nothing about it, you are liable. You are liable in that situation. You let this person commit crimes knowing it without having any interference to stop him. You let him go ahead and do these things. So I think, like you said, there's some digging in there. They know in that organization that, hey, eventually somebody's going to come out and say, hold on, we did know he was doing this, or we had some information that he possibly could be doing this, and we never said anything. When those allegations come out about the organization, then there's a bigger problem, because now those 22 women can sue that organization for more money than Deshaun can even think about.
Exactly. And I think that's still going to happen, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I would say that's still going to happen. Shouts out to you. We see JP High Tech is in the building. Thanks for joining us, sir. Coming in here late in the day, but we appreciate you, sir. But I think that this is not over. It was silence. It was squelched for a minute, but
it's going to be silent still. Somebody's hands got clean washed, bro. This is going to. That's as far as what we know, and then what they're going to let release to the media. It's those 22 settlements for them dropping the criminal charges. Somebody got that covered up. That's covered. That's gone. That's going to be.
Somebody already got paid. Somebody already got paid.
The court of law already said that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. Now, the civil suits won't hear about them because that's got to come out of Deshaun's pocket.
Right.
But what I'm saying, there's a cover up here, man, and people don't want to say it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to acknowledge it. But you can't tell me that they didn't know about what's going on and that they didn't have a responsibility to stop this person's actions as an organization. They did. That's like, and I'll use myself for example. That's like me being at work and they know I touched all these women, but HR doesn't do anything.
Come on.
You know what happened to my company? You know what happened to my company? They would get sued, and everybody else in the world would get sued, and everybody get fired.
That's true. Hey.
So this is no different from that world. Oh, thank you, man.
Doug Stanley says that Montel's a smart dude. So hey, you
Uh,
got to you dropping it like it's hot tonight, brother.
I appreciate I appreciate that. I'm not gonna fall for the okie doke on this one, man.
Yeah.
There's obviously a cover up with the Deshaun Watson situation, and I wish him the best, man. Like I said, I was rooting for him when these cases came up. I think someone.
You were right. You know what? Let's go and talk about that, right? Because I mean, you at the beginning, you were saying, man, let's wait till we get all the information out. Let's go ahead and innocent until proven.
Because I believe in his situation and where he's at. He is a target. He's a target for people to try to get money and get involved in these situations. Now, did he do some improper things? I believe so. I think he probably grabbed some woman's buttocks, unwarranted and unwarranted, most young. Most young
everybody's dirty in this situation. There's a lot of dirt in this situation. True.
Yeah. I think he's done that, and I think that was unwarranted. But I also think the moments that were there, those were Texas' opportunity to do teachable moments, right? If you grab someone inappropriately, why did the Texans say, "Hey, you know what, Deshaun, you can't do that now. You're a superstar, face of the organization, quarterback. You cannot do that because they're going to come after you about money and they're going to sue you." No one's talked about that part of it. No one said anything like that because it's two sides of the story. There's athletes that do assault people, and there's athletes that are targeted by women to be assaulted and other people to get money out of it.
Brother, that's truth right there. Yes, sir.
I was going with the latter side. I'm like, well, maybe he's being a target. What the situation is, but I'm not excusing him from some of the things he did. Let's say it was documented that he improperly touched some of these women. He did. He groped them. That's what they said. He groped them. That right there is a bad thing. But those are teachable moments they could have corrected at number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They could have corrected about it before it got to 22.
Before 22. So now that he's with a new organization. Now he's signed to multi-millions. He got some more folks around him. He's probably bringing his core group with him, though, right? He's got his people. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it make sense? And we've talked about this before with the younger athletes, right? Folks coming from college. Shouldn't there now be some support, some people around him to say, Deshaun, let's make sure you don't get caught up in none of this madness again. Do you need some assistance? Do you need some help? Whatever the case may be, right? Wouldn't it make sense for the NFL as an organization, Cleveland Browns as a team, to say we're gonna surround you with just some different types of dudes, some different folks to just make sure that you. And you know what? As I'm saying that, I'm even wondering if that even makes sense, right? He should be more responsible. But you know what I'm saying? Just to protect him from himself or whatever, but he should be more responsible for his actions as well. As I'm saying that, I'm kind of thinking that as well, right? He needs to be responsible for his actions.
For a fact, I read the article that the Cleveland Browns did a really thorough investigation before they made the trade for him. They asked a lot of questions. They did their due diligence. Supposedly.
No massages from outside sources. Come on, brother. Come on.
they did the due diligence about him. They did the due diligence about him before making the trade, pulling the trigger. I believe the NFL and Cleveland Browns don't have a vested interest in protecting Deshaun, except on the football field. They don't care about what he does in his personal life. I think Deshaun, as a young man, needs to learn from his lessons and understand, hey, what I did was wrong, regardless of what I think about a person. It was wrong, and I need to figure out a different way to go about doing it. I need to figure out that I can't put myself in that situation as a young, successful man, nor to be a target or be a victim. You can't be a victim or be an aggressor or be a target. Yeah. What I mean, he can't be any of those things. He needs to figure out where I can do good. I can be good. I can't put myself in that situation again because these allegations are going to follow him no matter where he goes. Even though he's been exonerated, we're still talking about it.
True.
These are always going to follow him no matter where he goes in this part of life. Football winning would trump a little of it and put a little bit of smoke over it, but it doesn't negate what he's done. It doesn't negate the fact that with the situation he's in, it doesn't negate the fact that he needs to change his behavior. Whether you grope a woman or not, being funny, being whatever situation, at this point, homeboy, in your life, that's wrong. You can't do that. If a woman's not warranted for you to do that, you cannot do that. So he needs to figure that out. He needs to definitely figure that out. Hopefully he has a team of family members or people around him that's going to be able to let him know what's going on. You can't do that and keep him out of bad situations. Don't be in those situations anymore, and he should be fine. But he's a young man he's in a difficult situation and state of mind. And I'll let us go after this. The reason why I say he's in a difficult state of mind, it's got to be hard for me to understand what people want from him. Is this woman being attracted to me, coming on to me, being there because she really likes me, or does she just want to get something from me because I'm Deshaun Watson and I'm rich? And I know I don't want to paint every woman like that because every woman is not like that, but there are women like that, and we always excuse that. You know what I mean? There's always women. There's women like I have enjoyed supporting the Cleveland Browns, but screw that, I'm done. I hear you, Melanie. I'm not mad at you at all, because I believe there should have been a situation where they needed to correct this whole thing going on. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I hope he's learned his lesson. I don't mind giving him a second chance, but I do honestly, man. I wish I knew more of what was going on.
Right.
I wish I had. We
never will.
From those 22 women to say, hey, did this dude was he really a predator? Or was he just a guy that, he just made some very immature mistakes on women and that they're trying to get him for money? We will never know. I'm assuming that he did some things that was inappropriate because if people cover it up, that means they got some dirt on him. So I'm gonna go with the darker side. Yeah. I think he did some inappropriate things. They covered it up and they got him out of there. So Melanie, I fully support you not supporting the Browns. I'm not I'm slowly but surely not becoming a fan of Deshaun Watson. It's not because of his football play, but just because of his off the field behavior.
Exactly.
That's
boy, you hitting him tonight, man. Oh, in other news, yes, Matt Ryan has left Atlanta. He is now in Indianapolis. Shouts out to, I think they got a decent man there. Tony is saying it started with Robert Kraft. Yeah. His second chance publicly is probably more like his fifth chance. That's truth, right? We just know what we know.
That's true
because it was reported. And look,
that's true.
Dirt is dirt, and not all of it gets reported. So unfortunately, that is what this is. We will continue to watch this and see what's going on. Yeah, look, I'd never been a Deshaun fan. I've never been a Browns fan, but it's beyond that, right? Because again, we're talking about how this affects him, how it affects the team, how it affects these 22 women and these allegations. Some are true, some are false, but again, we will never know the extent of it. Let's just hope, man. There's not 23 that comes out.
I pray it's not 23, and I pray, man. Like I said, I hope the Cleveland Browns hold him accountable for his actions, man. And what I mean by that, I hope they make him do public announcements. I hope he needs to go talk to victims that have been, been in these situations, and so he can understand the other side. Let's remove the money parts of Deshaun. Go talk to these women that have been victims of sexual crimes and see where they feel and why they feel that your inappropriate groping was inappropriate. Why? How it makes them feel, how it degrades them, how it does all these different things, so he can get a different perspective. I truly believe, like I said, man, when you're that young and the world is at your hands, you think you can do anything. You think you're invincible, right? We went through an extreme situation with Ben Roethlisberger. We never talk about it. He raped someone. He raped a woman in a race run.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he raped her, and they made it go away because he's a great football player. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore it. But he didn't. That was something that was extreme that they happened. And they somehow covered it up and made this thing. I hope Deshaun doesn't get to that point, nowhere near it. I hope they make him correct his behavior and hope they make him address his behavior. Maybe that'll make us feel more empathetic to his situation, or maybe understand where he's coming from, or maybe not. Maybe it's going to be like, this dude's just jerk, he's an asshole. Let's call it what it is. I don't know. We don't know, but the fact of the matter that it's a cover-up is the part that disturbs me because, man, that sends a mixed message. There's no correctable behavior at that point. He thinks he can. Let's be honest with you. If you think you can get away with something, you do it till you get caught.
Right.
Oh, they had me on 22 charges and I still got off. Oh, well, I can still do the same behavior again. Man, behavior, that's a pattern, brother, man. And people can tend to keep repeating patterns if they can get away with it. So I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I don't like to cover up. I hope, I wish every man well. I hope this is a new outlook on him. A new beginning for him to kind of get everything right. But like you said, I pray there's never a number 23. There shouldn't be a 23rd victim or anything else.
I agree, 100%. Listen, man, we came with it tonight. You was dropping it, man. You was telling folks what it was all about. So appreciate that. Appreciate folks in the comments. Look, we're gonna let you have your evening back. I saw the comments that are still coming through. Let's hold those until next time for sure to have the dialogue. But Man, if you enjoyed anything that we talked about, oh, hold on, look at your framing, brother. You are not in frame correctly. Let me get your head in
I
there,
got me
right?
on double everywhere.
Yeah. Man, subscribe to the channel. I need to update this too now that we've got the official Team No Sleep YouTube page. We're gonna need to get some more subscribers of that because again, once we get up to 100 on that particular channel, we can have a custom URL. But yeah, this is the first show that we are streaming live to not just Hicks New Media channels, but also to Team No Sleep as well. We have broken this off. I was told to probably do that by a mentor of mine. Shouts out to you, MDH. Things in action here, doing what you tell me to do. So do that, folks. I will put the link in the description so you can join us on the Team No Sleep channel as well. Montel, take us out of here, brother. You brought the show today, so I'm gonna let you. You got me. I'm sweating up in here. I got all the fans going, but
Nah,
you
man,
got me sweating. It's all right.
I appreciate all the comments, man. I hope you guys continue to watch us and support us because I think, like you said, like James always says, we're kind of bringing content from a different angle, and I can only speak my truth. So I'm telling my truth, and I'm glad, I'm honored that people even like it and think highly of me. I really do appreciate it, man. But stay 10 toes down, man. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, bro, and we'll see you next week.
We out, y'all.